Alright, tonight's facts you will see as this unfolds. I'm going to do facts on, or trivia, from IMDb, The Land Before Time movie, and you'll see why. The picture actually reminds me of Littlefoot. So, some trivia on this movie, and hopefully there's enough and we can keep going. Judith Barcy, who did the voice for Ducky, oh this isn't such a nice one, was murdered by her father 4 months before the film's release. Judith was only 10 years old. Her headstone includes her famous line in the movie, "Yep, yep, yep." It was George Lucas's idea to make Sarah a female Triceratops. Please excuse me if I butcher any of these dinosaur names. Pizza Hut once ran a promotion involving the characters. If you spend a certain amount on a pizza, you would receive a free hand puppet of one of the characters. When the film was first released on video, there was also a commercial for Pizza Hut which played before the movie started. Steven Spielberg and George Lucas originally wanted the film to have no dialogue, like the Rite of Spring sequence in Fantasia in 1940. But to make the film appealing to children, they abandoned this idea and got actors and actresses to do the voices. The film's theme song, "If We Hold On Together," is sung by Diana Ross and became a huge hit in Japan. It did so well there that it became a karaoke standard. Throughout production, the film underwent severe cutting and editing of footage. Steven Spielberg and George Lucas thought that some of the scenes in the movie would appear too dark and intense for young children. Spielberg told Don Bluth while looking at the scenes from the film, "It's too scary, we'll have the kids crying in the lobby and have a lot of angry parents. You don't do that." About 19 scenes comprising of 10 minutes of footage, mostly pertaining to the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the 5 characters in mild peril or distress, was cut or trimmed. Bluth was unhappy with the cuts and fought to keep the footage, but felt he had to do so, making this film only 69 minutes, one of his shortest. He claims to have a personal copy of the film reel of the whole thing, though no word of whether or not it will ever see the light of day. The role of Ducky was Judith Barcy's favourite of her own film roles. It was the highest grossed animated film of all time until The Little Mermaid in 1989. This remains the only Land Before Time not to be a musical, except for the song during the credits, "If We Hold On Together," sung by Diana Ross. Okay, this is where I'm going to fall over. Different dinosaur species reflected in the 5 main characters. Littlefoot is an Apatosaurus. Sarah's species has been the subject of some dispute, although after some confusion over what she is has not been as drastic as it has been from the character Ducky, mainly due to the fact that the character only possesses a nasal horn, while Triceratops also have 2 horns on its forehead. Some have suggested that the character is in fact a monoclonius, a one-horned member of the Ceratopsian order of dinosaurs, to which Triceratops also belongs. However, her father, Tops, has a correct amount of horns for a Triceratops, as did her mother in the original film, and official sources continue to state that she is a Triceratops. Furthermore, in The Land Before Time 13, The Wisdom of Friends, during the song Yellow Belly Bounce, one of the Yellow Bellies comments on her horn and states she's going to develop 2 more. This is in fact consistent with modern paleontological thought, based on the analysis of several juvenile Triceratops skulls, which indicate that baby Triceratops were born with pre-developed horns, and that only the nasal horn has developed in early childhood. The bow horns would have developed during the pubic stage. Spike is a Stegosaurus. Petrie is a Pteranodon. He is referred to as a pterodactyl or a pterodactylus in the bonus features of the DVDs for the first 10 of the Land Before Time sequels. This is incorrect, as pterodactylus didn't have the type of keratinous crest, albeit somewhat didn't have the type of crest Petrie had, whereas Pteranodon did. However, UV scans did showcase that Pterodactylus had a keratinous crest, good lord, albeit somewhat differently shaped. The specific species of Pterodactylus petri is assigned is in the bonus feature Pterodactylus elegans, which was reassigned to the genus Tencasm. It's C-T-E-N, yeah, I have no idea. In 2004, the ducky is consistently identified in official material, including the official website, as a Parasaurolophus. There seems to have been much confusion over what she is, with fans often pointing out that the way she is drawn makes her have more resemblance of another crested hadrosaur, Saurolophus. No, hang on, Saurolophus, and critics frequently calling her Anatosaurus, probably due to the broadness of her bill. Good lord. See why I didn't study dinosaurs. Old Rooter didn't appear in the original script, but was added to soften the blow of death of Littlefoot's mother. 29 species of animals were filmed in this film. 5 of them were already extinct by the time the movie was set. The film's narrator also performed the voice of Rooter. This may have been to underscore the fact that both characters were very wise and insightful. An astounding 14 sequels have been made, as well as 8 games, 2 sing-along videos, and a TV series. Outside the Indiana Jones franchises, this is the only film to be co-produced by both George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. While he by no means dislikes the film, Don Bluth credits it with kickstarting his weaker output, as it was his first major exposure to studio interference. Castle Thunder. The thunderclap is heard right at the beginning of the first storm when it frightens baby Sarah. During development, Sarah started out as a male triceratops called Bambo. The scene where Sharptooth lands on the back of Littlefoot's mother was originally fully visible, but it was changed to a shadow. In his book, The Art of Animation, Don Bluth admitted that the film's massive financial success can partially be attributed to the 19-minute cutout. The character of Spike was inspired by Don Bluth's pet Chow Chow cubby. Littlefoot was originally going to be called Thunderfoot, but a triceratops from a children's book already had that name. During production of An American Tail in 1986, talk began of the next feature with Steven Spielberg. He wanted to do a film similar to Bambi from 1942, but only with dinosaurs. Studies done after the film's release revealed that ceratopsian dinosaurs may have been opportunistic omnivores. In other words, triceratops like Sarah may well have been willing to eat meat in real life as well as plants. The original film trailer has a deleted bit from the final scene with Littlefoot saying, "Now we'll always be together." There is also a deleted scene where the group finds an oasis, but the two groups of dinosaurs already there get discriminatory and say that only Ducky can drink. These elements still appear in the children's book released with the film. Originally planned for release in fall 1987, production was delayed by a year due to a relocation of Sullivan Bluth Studios to Dublin, Ireland. I wondered why the name was so familiar. Okay. An early work title of the film was Land Before Time Began. Over 600 background paintings were made for the film. Most of these were depicted beautiful but barren wastelands, which presented a real challenge for the creative team. As one studio press release put it, the artists had to create a believable environment in which there was almost no foliage. Whenever possible, Don Bluth's illustrators emphasized vibrant colours. This kept their backdrops from looking too drab or monotonous, despite the desolate setting. The film's second half was not as Don Bluth originally intended. In the original version, Littlefoot finds the Great Valley after he goes off alone and the others go with Sarah. He realises that he has to go find the others because he won't find it on their own and goes back after them, finding them in the volcano. The Sharptooth scene then happens and he leads them to the valley. This can be detected in the final film. In the scene where Littlefoot is telling his mother he'll never find the Great Valley because it's too hard, the rock they pushed onto Sharptooth is still there in the foreground. And the scene where he looks over the Great Valley shows him standing alone and is closely followed by a shot of Littlefoot and the others sliding to the stop with Petrie perched on his head. The scene where Sharptooth is pushed under the big rock has a scene where Sharptooth was seen looking up to the water, but it was deemed too scary. Reportedly, the full uncut version has aired in several foreign countries. The production was preceded by extensive research, wherein researchers visited natural history museums in New York and Los Angeles and the Smithsonian Institution, Washington, D.C. This is the first Don Bluth film and only one of the 1980s to not feature a character voiced by Dom DeLuise, an actor who was a regular in a lot of Don Bluth films. Ironically, Dom was featured in Oliver and Company in 1988, which was released the same date as this film. One of only 3 Don Bluth films to not be a musical, the other 2 being The Secret of Nim and Titan AE in 2000. The instrumental If We All Hold On Together score was reused in Lorenzo's Oil in 1992, as well as the theme tune for a Japanese TV show. In 1997, there were talks of adapting the film into a stage musical by the late theatrical producer Irving Welzer. This idea never came to fruition. None of the cast members appear in every movie. After the first, most of them were replaced, and Frank Welker came close but was absent from The Land Before Time 11. The prop master for the film, Raleigh Richer, would later go on to voice the character of Ducky in a made-for-TV adaptation. Will Ryan, Petrie, was in Don Bluth's previous film, An American Tail, as Digit. This is the only Don Bluth film released in the 1980s to not feature Dom DeLuise. Some of these IMDb facts do repeat themselves a bit. The 8th animated film not to be a musical after The Rescuers, Watership Down, The Lord of the Rings, The Secret of Nim, The Last Unicorn, The Plague Dogs, and The Black Cauldron. This is the first Universal's animated film not to be a musical. Okay, right. Rooter, upon learning from Littlefoot his mother got killed by Sharptooth, comforts Littlefoot by saying, "The great circle of life has begun." This foreshadows The Lion King in 1994, in which the circle of life has a bigger role to the point of the opening song is named after the phrase. Like Rooter, Mufasa also explains about the circle of life. Similarly, both Littlefoot and Simba also encounter the ghosts of their parents as well. It's a little bit creepy. The only film of the franchise to not be a musical and to be released theatrically, all the others were musicals and went to home video. Okay. First installment in the Land Before Time series. This is Don Bluth's first animated film to not have any humans. The 3rd animated film to use dust after Watership Down and The Secret of Nim. Director trademark Don Bluth is an emigrating protagonist. Littlefoot, along with all the other dinosaurs, is forced to travel to the Great Valley after an earthquake. And Don Bluth object, Littlefoot has a tree star which he carries with him. And there might be some spoilers in the next little bit. Bill Irwin is credited as voicing Grandpa Longneck, despite the character not speaking in the film. Whether he knows it or not, Littlefoot actually avenges the death of his mother by defeating the Sharptooth at the end of the film. Throughout the franchise, the sun is never referred to by its actual name, but referred to as a Great Circle. Only appearance of Littlefoot's mother as she dies in the film. Okay. Alright, we'll wrap it up with some dinosaur facts for kids. Hopefully these will be a little bit more readable. The word dinosaur comes from the Greek language and means terrible lizard. The word was coined by English paleontologist Richard Owen in 1842, and it's meant to refer to dinosaurs' impressive size rather than their scary appearance. Dinosaurs ruled the Earth for over 160 million years, from the Triassic period around 230 million years ago through to the Jurassic period and until the end of the Cretaceous period around 65 million years ago. The time period from 250 million years ago until 65 million years ago is known as the Mesozoic era. It's often referred to as the age of the dinosaurs because most dinosaurs developed and became extinct during this time. It's believed that dinosaurs lived on Earth until around 65 million years ago, when a mass extinction occurred. Scientists believe that the event leading to the extinction may have been a massive asteroid impact or a huge volcanic activity. Events such as these could have blocked out sunlight and significantly changed the Earth's ecology. The first dinosaur to be formally named was the Megalosaurus back in 1824. A person who studies dinosaurs is known as a paleontologist. Rather than being carnivores, meat eaters, The largest dinosaurs, such as the Brachiosaurus and Apatosaurus, were actually herbivores, plant eaters. To help fight meat eaters such as the Allosaurus or Spinosaurus, many plant eaters had natural weapons at their disposal. Examples of this include spikes on the tail of the Stegosaurus and 3 horns attached to the front of the Triceratops head shield. Pterodactyls are not dinosaurs. They are flying reptiles that lived during the same age of dinosaurs, but by definition do not fall into the same category. The same goes for water-based reptiles such as plesiosaurs. Birds descended from a type of dinosaurs known as theropods. Despite being long extinct, dinosaurs are frequently featured in the media. One of the more memorable examples of this is Michael Crichton's 1990 book Jurassic Park. Adapted to the movie in 1993, the story features cloned dinosaurs brought to life with the help of DNA found in mosquitoes trapped in amber. I hope you have enjoyed my dinosaur facts. I hope you've enjoyed me coming up with that little dot to dot of the little dinosaur at the museum. I did think about going to museum facts, but yeah, I thought dinosaurs. We'll stick with dinosaurs. Try and keep it simple. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you for joining me with it, and I will see you again in another video perhaps. Bye for now.